Now, you knew this one was coming. This is LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game. This is going to be the final LEGO game that I'm going to be going through. I have a couple more that I picked up recently. There's LEGO Lord of the Rings and LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga that I have picked up, but both of them were used. We picked them up used online, and the previous owners, I imagine they were small human childs. Typically, probably that's the main demographic who plays these games, you know. So, I'm imagining that the small human child who previously owned these games didn't take care of the disc. Perhaps they threw them around as frisbees. Perhaps they left them sitting next to the player with the data side down onto the ground. They kept sliding and grinding it like sandpaper against the friggin' desk or something. And they scratched the disc. I have no idea what the previous owner did to these discs, but they were just not in the condition to operate properly, including this one. But luckily, I was able to get 99% of the way complete with this one. So this is why we're going to be talking about this one last, whatever. LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean. My copy, mentioning the small human child, perhaps was very, very, very unkind to the disc. I'm just going to be that guy today and talk about how you handle your physical media. Let's pull out a good example here. Yeah, there we go. Let's say you have a movie right here. Let's say it's the BBC version of the Chronicles of Narnia. No, probably nobody has this anymore. Well, let's say you have this. This is how you handle the discs when you get a DVD case or a Blu-ray case or a video game case, any type of thing that's disc-based media. The disc should be in the case, snug and secure, whenever it's not in the player. When it's time to take it into the player, you press your little button or whatever, you take your little disc out. You do not touch the data side. You only handle the inner ring or the edges when you pick it up. The only time it is not in this case is either when you're making an example, trying to tell people how to handle the disc, and when you're picking it up to place it into your console. When it's not in the console, it's in the case. That way, you don't scratch them! That rant out of the way, let's talk about my experience with Pirates of the Caribbean, LEGO. Now, I am a major fan of the movies. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. The first three are amazing. Up to World's End, I loved Zedman's chest in that World's End, man. I loved them, man. I don't care how many people say, oh, they're not as good! And they make all sorts of whatevers about the sequels, and you may have a point with Dead Men Tell No Tales. I don't care about that one, and you may even have one about On Stranger Tides. But the original trilogy, that first trilogy up to At World's End, is amazing. It is amazing. I love all three of those movies, and they go through all three of those movies, including On Stranger Tides, as you can see right here. This is Angelica and Blackbeard, and they are really marketing the fourth movie with this game, probably because it had just come out or is about to come out at the time this game came out, you know? So sorry, Davy Jones, you don't really get too much to do here, even though you're pretty much the big guy of the original trilogy, you know? But whatever. The gameplay is very fun. The character variety is not. The music comes straight from the movies, so if you're a major fan of those movies, the Klaus Badelt for the first movie, and then Hans Zimmer from the second and third movie, I don't know who composed the fourth one, maybe it was Hans Zimmer as well, I don't know, I just care about the first three soundtracks, and they're amazing, they are fantastically well done, man. When you listen to He's a Pirate, that was composed by Klaus Badelt, I believe, you recognize it anywhere, and it's that type of catchy tune that will hit your head wherever you are, just will hit you out of the blue, anywhere you are. It's fantastic. And the music is all intact from all the movies. You have 20 levels that you can play through. Very lengthy levels compared to the Harry Potter 1 and 2 games. But it comes at a cost that the hub world isn't as big, which in my case was a plus. It was a plus because I told you that my disc was scratched. But luckily, all of the story levels were intact. I was able to do all 20 story missions, complete them all with no problems. But the hub world, which is basically a Port Royal dock with two areas to the right and to the left that you could visit, the hub world was incredibly glitch prone. It was incredibly game crash prone. The music would glitch up. The characters that you could recruit and whatnot, they would stop showing up. Whenever I tried to go to the left or the right to the next area, the game would give me an infinite loading screen, or it would just freeze when I tried to jump into the water. Everything just went wrong in the hub world, and it became to the point where after I had 100%ed all 20 story levels and collected the entire roster of characters, and I'm ready to do the final thing to get the final gold brick, right? I'm ready to do the final thing, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't get to it because the game was that scratched for the hub world, and it was unable to be done. It was unable to be done, and that was very disappointing. But you know what? I considered the game to be complete. 99% is fine to me. I had to get one gold brick left, and I believe it's from the bonus mission, which is basically, I'm guessing, collect 1,000,000 studs. You know, that one bonus thing that almost all the LEGO games had. Marvel Superheroes had it. The first two Harry Potter, the Harry Potter games had it. Batman 2 had it. I don't know if Batman 3 had it. Actually, I think Batman 3 might be the odd one out who didn't have it. Which I consider a godsend, because that collect 1,000,000 studs thing is probably aggravatingly boring. You just have to blow everything up, collect many studs, that's the end. That's basically what it is. It's not as fun as you would think the first time around. Maybe the second time around, when you can pick any character you like, then it starts to become fun. But when you have to pick the characters that the game picks for you for that, it's just not as fun. But hey, so I stopped at 99%. So we're going to talk about the 99% of the game that I did get to see. There are about 84 gold bricks. I'm happy about that number. That number is perfect to me, okay? I think it's actually 85. It might be 85. You get 80 through the story missions. 4 each for every story mission. Okay? You complete the mission, you get a gold brick. You get the X amount of studs for that level, you get a second gold brick. You collect all 10 mini kits for that level, you get a third gold brick. And then I believe there's somebody in peril that you have to save or something, and then you get your fourth gold brick. I'm guessing that's how that works. I'm trying to remember exactly what that fourth gold brick is for. It's probably for the person in peril. Every single game has a person in peril. It's been a few weeks. I picked up a few other games before I talked about this one. I don't know why I put it off. Maybe it's because I thought maybe I'd try to get that 1% finished someday, but I decided, no, I'm going to give up on that. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of scratched discs. I'm tired of human childs not taking care of their discs. You know, I told you how to handle your discs. I told you how to handle them. Follow my instructions. It's at the start of the video. Replay it as many times as you need. Alright? It shouldn't be that hard! Now. So the story missions were very fun. You know, this is kind of like the Harry Potter 1 and 2. There's no voice acting in this compared to the LEGO Marvel game and the Batman 2 and 3 games. There's no voice acting in it. It's all mumbles like the Harry Potter 1 and 2 was, and I actually kind of liked that. I did. They did have Johnny Depp's voices where he screams and yells and mumbles to himself and all that. I found that to be very fun. They may have taken those clips directly from the movies. They most likely did. Overall, it was very fun. The story missions are very fun. The character variety, though, that's where the problem arises. Although, I guess, to my part, it's a godsend because switching characters whenever you want was kind of a problem in this game due to it being so scratched. I would sometimes encounter the dog glitch. The dog glitch is basically when you try to swap a character by holding the triangle button in either story missions or in the hub world. When you're trying to swap a character in free play mode, you would get a long loading screen or whatever of the little character swapping animation, and then after a long time, you just turn into the dog. No matter what you did, you just turned into a dog. And then you realized you had to restart the game to get out of that problem. So I just basically just used the characters that the mission provided for me. Like how Harry Potter 1 and 2, they would pick an X amount of characters from the roster for each mission, each story mission it's basically all you would need for that level to unlock everything anyways. So that's what I picked and chose from. Then I was able to use most of the cast in this manner, and most of them play exactly the same as you think they would. Let's talk about how they play. First, let's say we have pirates with swords. They have a basic sword moveset. Some of them have variations of the moveset, but it's basically just a sword moveset. The sword can be used to operate mechanisms to lower levers and things of that nature that anybody who doesn't have a sword cannot operate, so you have to have a sword for that. That's fine. Over half the cast has a sword, as you can clearly see. The women characters can double jump. They can double jump and use the acrobatic sections of the levels. So that's something that gives them uniqueness. So Elizabeth Swann and Angelica and some other people that they threw in there, Tia Dalma, they can use the acrobatic sections. That's pretty cool. Then there's one of the female characters who had dual swords. I believe she showed up at World's End during the Singapore section. One of the twins. The twins are fantastic in this game, especially the one with the dual swords. She's the only one who can use dual swords, and she has a unique animation style for using dual swords. She's one of the best combat characters in the game. It's very fun to use her now. So I really enjoyed the slide variation for what little variation I could get. There was a character who could break glass. That's basically to be expected. They were in Batman 2 and 3, a character that could break glass, they could shriek and whatever. I believe the mermaid character from On Stranger Tides is the one who could do that, and so could her boyfriend, the priest man, who apparently in this game, instead of being a priest man, he's just a singer. The singer guy can break glass, so that's fine, whatever. Davy Jones is disappointing. He's not as unique as I would have hoped. He has super strength. A handful of other characters have super strength. Characters with super strength can pull the super strength level. You know what that basically means. And all of the Davy Jones fish people, and in the first movie, all of the undead characters from the Cursed Pirate Crew. They can walk along the bottom of ocean water, or lake water, or whatever. They can walk at the bottom of the water. Instead of the characters who are alive, they have to swim atop the water. So they can't do any types of puzzles and stuff. At the bottom of the water, you need to use a fish person or a cursed pirate to do that. So I liked that. That's basically all Blackbeard can do. Not Blackbeard, Davy Jones can do. He has nothing else unique about him. Blackbeard, though, is the most unique character in the game. He is the most unique character in the game outside of Jack Sparrow, in that his sword is so unique, man. It can shoot fire blasts out. He can use it to, use telekinesis to operate various things that only his sword could operate in the story mission, so you have to use him in every single story mission to use the Blackbeard insignia to get a mini kit or something. So that's pretty cool to have him in this game. He's really fun to use. Jack Sparrow, obviously, he is a unique character. He has his compass. You use the compass to find about 8 items scattered throughout the level, which will that's it. There's no person apparel. It's the compass. I almost forgot about this. The compass. That's the 4th gold brick. It's not somebody in peril, it's the compass. When you find all 8 items with Jack's compass, then you get another gold brick, and you complete the level. So you gotta find all the compass items, all the mini kits, finish the level, and collect X amount of gold studs, and you get all 4 gold bricks. There's 20 levels, so 20 times 4, 80. And once you get all of the mini kits in each of the movies, so if you complete Curse of the Black Pearl level right, you can go to one of the hub areas and get a gold brick for that. You can get 4 more gold bricks by completing all 4 movies. And once you get 84, you can get the 85th through the bonus level. I didn't do that because the game's too scratched. But that's basically how you complete the game. Let's talk about some of the other unique characters for the moment. The dog is basically just like Fang in the Harry Potter 1 and 2 games, so there's nothing unique to talk about him there, but you could dig. Shovels are scattered throughout the levels whenever you need to use them. They're conveniently able to find, and characters could pick up the shovels to use whenever they need to. They can put it holstered on their back. So if they have a sword or whatever, they could holster the shovel on their back while they use the sword or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Some characters, one character comes with a shovel automatically. So if you need to use a shovel whenever you need to, you'll have to switch to that character or to the dog to dig. There are some small, very short characters who can operate the small little mini. It's kind of like the Ant-Man levels or the Atom levels that I talk about for Batman 3 and Marvel superheroes. There are small little doors that you need a short character, like Marty. Marty is the little person from the trilogy, the really cool dude that has the big shotgun. He has a big shotgun in this game as well, and the cannon, he falls backwards just like the movies. Love that. Marty's shotgun cannon can blow up silver bricks to do whatever he needs to do with that, so that's really cool. What else is there? Oh yeah, there are characters with guns, so that they could shoot faraway items. Blackbeard can do this too with his sword, so he kind of makes the gun characters useless by the time you unlock him. A problem, though, my disc was so scratched that I couldn't actually unlock Blackbeard or Davy Jones and some of those characters, but luckily, with the cheats menu, all these games have a cheat code menu. Luckily, with this one, some of these characters, including the ones that I couldn't unlock, had codes to unlock them, so I used that instead because the game was too scratched to unlock them normally in the hub world. Forgive me for that, but perhaps if the human person who previously owned this game took better care of the disc, I wouldn't have had to do that. I digress. The game overall is fun, it's fine, it's very enjoyable, very entertaining, even though a lot of the cast is basically redundant. There's about 5 Jack Sparrows, there's about 8 Elizabeth Swann outfits. There's only one Will Turner outfit. If you're gonna give Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann like about 5 different outfits from their entire trilogy appearance, you could at least do the same for Will Turner, man. All he has is his first appearance with the white vest or whatever. You don't give him the weird cool hat that he had at the end of Curse of the Black Pearl. You don't give him the darker coat that he had in at World's End. You don't give him any of that. No, you just give him one outfit. You give Jack about 5, you give Elizabeth about 8. Whatever. I think a lot of those outfits are useless, they're redundant, you don't really need them. A bunch of the characters in here are kind of redundant and useless, you don't need them. Anybody with a sword can do what anybody else with a sword could do. It's kind of like what the Indiana Jones 1 and 2 is like, man. There's not too many unique variant characters, it's just the fact that, hey, this guy was in the movie and you could play as him if you felt like it, and that's fine. It's fine, I don't have any problems with it, it's fine. If that's what you're going for, that's great. That's great. Overall, from what I was able to play outside the hub world, LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean was a very satisfying game, and a return to form from LEGO Harry Potter 1 and 2. With no voice acting in it, it was just a quiet game that you could just play through and hope the game doesn't crash while playing it. But there you go! LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, another satisfying addition. I'm going to take the last few minutes to talk about Marvel superheroes. I did a rant video about that game last week. I want to just come back and say that I ended up completing it. I begrudgingly went back in and completed it, and it was as boring as I said it would be. There were way too many NPC missions, man. Throughout the big city of New York, there's like 60, maybe 60 NPCs scattered around. Some of them are characters like the Punisher, Blade, whatever, and their missions are fine. I have no problems with them. They have cool stories or whatever. The Punisher has a vendetta against criminals on the streets, and you gotta blow up their cars, and Blade wants to race you and things of that nature. That's fine. But then there's a bunch of random NPCs going like, "Can you find my cat?" Or, "You, I need you to take me to a little place." Or, "Can you go find something for me?" Or, "Can you escort my friend to my location, please?" There's a bunch of people like that I couldn't stand by the time I went through it all. I had a very bored and bland, monotone face completing all of those missions. They were so blah that but I did it. I got it all. I got Deadpool. I got it all. Everybody's complete. And I hated it. I hated the post-game of Marvel Superheroes. But I want to be kinder to the movie in this one. If you've made it this far, I will tell you that want to be kind to that movie and say that the story and the Deadpool missions, the stuff that did not involve collecting gold bricks and all that garbage, the stuff that didn't involve doing that, it was just as satisfying as the other LEGO games. It was. The roster is very fun to use. It's far more varied than you would think it would be. A lot of the characters can do a lot of unique and interesting stuff. It's very fun. It is very fun. It's just very, very frustrating and tedious post-game. Collecting 250 gold bricks, man. It's just very tedious. But if you can get past that, it's a very fun game. There's no speedster characters, surprisingly. No Quicksilver, even though you had access to all of the X-Men. You couldn't add Quicksilver. Whatever. That's it. It's imaginative to be imaginative, everybody.